Okay, so today I believe is day 18, I believe, of Playwright. And today, in the last session, right, we were discussing about iframes, right? We discussed about iframes, and we tried to learn that in the last class that if you have an iframe to work with, right, how do you do it in Playwright, right? And what we discussed was one of the approach called frame locator, right? Frame locator. Frame locator is a method available on the page, right? Which helps you to I mean whatever. So let's say, right, if you in your HTML page, if you have an iframe tag, right, and within that iframe you have let's say input box and all, right. If you want to fill some value, right, on this input box, so this is how the UI looks like, right. So this is an iframe, this is the root frame, and this is the input tag, right. If you want to fill something, right, you have to be here first, right. Now, to be here, right, you have to first find this frame. So to find this frame, we use one of the methods called frame locator on the page. As the name says, it locates the frame, right? So you will give the X path, or I think you will give a CSS path here, right? To find this, right? To find this frame. And once you get it right, you will be given a frame locator, right? Class object, okay? Frame locator, which is now pointing to this frame. And on this frame locator, right, you can do find the inner elements, let's say input box, right. Input box is a part of this, right. So we saw all those methods, right. Locator, there was a method like get by all text and all, right, the same which were available on the locator part. So this is what we discussed last time. So frame locator, right. So these are the methods available, and this is what we worked on in the last class, right. Now we also took some of the extreme cases where there is not like a simple kind of a frame. There could be some nested frames which looks like this, right? And we discussed like how do you have to iterate through them one by one if you use this frame locator approach. Okay, so in Playwright, if you have to work with frames, you have two options to work with. Okay, one of them we already saw, which is frame locator. Today we are going to talk about the second object called frame itself. Okay, frame itself. So we'll first discuss about this, and then in the end we'll also discuss about mouse events and keyboard events. Okay, so that's the agenda for today. Let's start our discussion. Frame. Now, what happens, right? As I said, right, like page is an object, right? Is an object which has a lot of methods within it. Similarly, I told you frame locator is an object which has a lot of methods within it. Similarly, there is a class called frame, right, which has a lot of methods within it, right? If you go by the API documentation, this is the page one, right, which we have been seeing. So all the methods which we have talked about were on the page and then on the locator side. So if you have to work at the this, right, frame locator, this is what we use till now. Today we are going to talk about the frame. So okay, let's go back to frame locator, right. Frame locator helps you to work with iframes. And what does it return? It returns your frame locator object. What is a frame locator object? This one. So if it returns your frame locator, you will get access to this object, and which will give you the access to these methods, right. This is what we saw last time. Okay, and this is how we've been working. Today we will use frame, right. We will use frame, and we'll see like what is the difference between the two. If both are capable of working with the frames, then why we should choose one or the other, right, on top of it. That was a discussion on which we ended our last class. Okay, but again, if you go to the frame method here, right, returns frame matching the specified criteria, right. Either name or URL must be specified. Okay, but what does it return? It returns you a frame object, right. It returns you a frame object, and frame you have a this object, and if you would see, right, it has so many methods on top of it. Okay, there are so many methods on top of it. So we'll talk about these methods. Okay, so let's start. Let's take our website first. Nested iframes. Click here to practice this one, right. So let's close this. So this was the website, right, where we have frames. So this is also inside a frame. This is inside this frame. This is inside this frame. So these are like nested frames. Okay, so there are 4 frames involved here. One, the root one, right, every web page has at least one frame for sure, right? Which is the outermost frame, which is managed by the outermost HTML tag, right? Here in this on this page we have four, right? We have four frames. One, the usual one, right, everyone gets, this one, right? And then we have another one, then we have another one, and then we have another one. There were four frames involved, right? If you want to work on a text box which was placed here, right, we understood that we have to move here first, then here first, and then here first, and then we can able to access the locator using it, right? But this approach was being taken when we were using frame locator, right? If you try to access this frame directly using frame locator, right, when you are on the page style level here, right, when you are the outermost level, it will fail. You cannot access directly these frame. Okay, you cannot. You the only option you have is to go by one in the sequence part, right? So that was like all the learning from frame locator. Now let's discuss frame now. Okay, I just wanted to revise that part. Okay, frame. Let's go to our code also, and let's try to write some tests here. Test. We are on day 18. Okay, fine. Iframe 3. Page. Okay, iframe 3 page. And what, sorry, what we'll do is we will page dot go to, and we'll go to that page. What was the page? This was the page. Okay, let's copy this one also. Right. So what will happen is it will open the web page, and till now, right, we were finding the iframe using the frame locator, right? And here, right, you can see I can provide, if you see right here, I can provide, usually, right, in the frame locator over here, you have to give the CSS path. Okay, that is how I think XPath should also work, but I think CSS is the preferred one. Okay, so you can, oh, let us check actually. Let us check if I can. Just a second. Let's remove this confusion also. Uh, this part, right? So this was the one. If we inspect this, this is the input tag, and this is the iframe ID. Okay, iframe ID. So let's try to write it. Iframe at the rate ID equals to pet1, right? I'm able to find it. Okay, let's try to see if this will work here. So we have given an XPath, and this will give me a frame, and on the frame I will try to find this and fill this. Okay, if it was able to fill, it means that XPath also works. Let's try this, and let me make a pause also. Just a second. Array, where it went? It is running. Yeah, it is running. Okay. Iframe scenario. Yes. Okay. So CSS, XPath, both works. Okay. It's not only CSS. Both things works. I think I am remembering something from Selenium. Okay. So I'll have to be correct here, right? So both things work here. Okay. Fine. Now, so you saw, right? If you have to work on the frame, like using frame locator, how you work, right? So this is one of the approach. So let's comment it out. Let's say uh, approach one, using what? Using frame locator. Let's try to do it using the other approach, which is approach 2, which is frame. How do you do it? Again, you will have to access, see, okay, let's see. Let's write page dot frame. Okay, frame. If you do a frame, right, here, what can you provide? What can you provide here for a frame? Can you provide this XPath or CSS path of this frame over there? Actually, no. It works on a very specific information, right? Either you can give this one, right? Either you can give the name, right? The name, if you have a name attribute in the frame and the iframe tag, or the URL one, right? You can give a URL one. So how to do this? Was not provided. Frame selector, frame name, or other frame lookup options. Okay, leave it. Okay, if you see here, right? You see, do you see any name attribute here? No, right? It has an ID, it has source, it has class. There is no name attribute. Similarly, if you see, right, there is nothing with the name, with the attribute name as URL, right? But there is something called source which contains the URL information, right? Which is this one. And for the iframe, I believe source is what is equivalent to URL. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll try to use it. Okay. We'll try to find the locator using this path. Okay. Apart from these two, you cannot use anything else. This is what documentation says. I did not try it. If we want, let us try that one, that thing also. Okay, let's first try the working thing. Okay, so if you have to give the URL, right, to identify the frame, what to do is, if you look at the methods image, right, it has to be in an object. Okay, in an object. In an object, you will have to give an attribute called URL and then the value of that URL. What we'll do is we'll go back here. We'll open the braces and we'll say URL, and then we will provide the URL here. So where is the URL? This is the one, right? If you see, right, this is the URL. So I'm copying this out. I hope it got copied, and let's paste it here, right? So now, if you see, right, in the case of frame locator, you could give any XPath, CSS path which identifies that frame, right? Here, which I remember, right, what they do, or as per the documentation says, it can only work on two things, either the URL or the name. You cannot give an XPath or CSS path, but we will try that out, whether that works or not, right? But what does it return? It returns you a frame object, right? It can return your frame object. Okay, frame object. So, and this is like without a promise, I believe, right? Without a promise. So what we'll do is, let's create one frame. Frame one equals to this. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's try to work on this frame. Now, okay, why do we want the frame? Because we wanted to fill, we wanted to go inside the text box, right, to fill it the value. So this is, I think this will as it is work, right? If you see here, right, frame one is this. Now here you can see the problem. It says frame one, right? There is no locator method on it. Okay. Let's try this out. Frame. We have frame locator. Okay. And there, oh, we do have locator, right? Why it is saying we do not have it? The method returns an element locator, right? So yeah, it should be there. What is the problem? It's, oh, it is possibly none. To make this work, what we'll do is, we'll have to do one thing. We'll have to
The
check
question
whether
mark.
we can do that, I believe.
Yeah,
But then we'll have to put
one,
it in, I think, in
one
brackets.
symbol is enough, I guess. We are going two symbols that one. Just one symbol. Yeah. So
Okay, great.
in C sharp we used to give this for the null. So
Hmm.
it is also working here.
I remember that we also I was
Yeah.
telling you about double question mark, but I think it was in the context of when we were writing it in a method. It's a statement here. So single question mark works fine, but I'm just trying to recollect where, in which situation I told you about two question marks. I told you that some, I don't know in which discussion I told you, but yeah, okay, fine. So this will also work, right? This is one of the approach again, right? Or what you can do is, what people take, right? What people do is they put a if clause, right? They check whether frame one received something or not. If it returns some, if it has something, right, then only you wanted to run it. If the frame one was null, this will never run. Okay, so you can take either of the approach. You can use this or you can use this. Okay, but here when you use this approach, right, by doing a question mark, you are taking a risk on the compilation. If tomorrow this returns you a null, right, if it returns you a null, then it will do what? It will still try to locate try to find this method on it. And on the null, there is no locator method, right? But if it is really a frame object, it would have a locator. So what people you might see doing is they just say if frame1 and do it. But again, it depends on our practice of writing the code, and you can do it accordingly. We have seen question mark and double question mark earlier, so let's see this one also, right? So what we're doing is if frame1 is not null, then go and do this, right? This is what I'm saying. Let's run it and see whether it really able to do it or not. Let's see. We have given the URL, okay? We have given the URL. You see, it was able to fill the value. It was able to fill the value. So our code is working. Our code is working. Now let's just check one thing. We wanted to check using a CSS or an XPath, and let's see whether that thing also works or not. So what we'll do is we will collect this out, put it here, and let's put it here and question mark, and let's just comment this code out. Let's try to run it, right? Let's try to run it and see whether giving a XPath or CSS path of the frame itself, whether that will help you to find the frame or not. I think it should not, but let's see. Things are changing rapidly, so let's see.
I tried it. It didn't work.
It didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
So then there comes the first difference, right? There comes the first difference between frame locator and the frame. If you wanted to, if your frames right have URLs, but let's see, it will not work, right? Otherwise, it would have worked already, right? It did not work. Great. It did not work. Fine. Let's resume and let's come out of this, right? It did not work. So here comes the first difference. Yeah, Anand.
Okay, you used frame instead of frame locator. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Fine.
Last time when we ended our discussion, right? I told you there are two things to work with frames, frame and frame locator. And the question we stopped at was what is the difference? Right. Now here comes the first difference. If you go back, let's try to write it down, right? Let's try to write it down. Frame versus frame locator. If your frame, right, if you're able to write if you think, right, you have the required XPath or CSS path, right, to work on a frame, right? So you should be using frame locator, XPath, CSS path, right? But if you think, right, you have a name attribute, or if you have the URL, right, with the name as source also, right, as an attribute name, if you have it mentioned on the iframe tag, then you can choose to use this frame as this method, right? So you might decide to use page dot frame, right? Okay. But if you think that is not the case, you can decide to use frame locator, page dot frame locator. Yeah, please, Kiran.
So just add what I tried is I used the ID packed one, yeah, inside that object and said name colon packed one, and it worked for me.
Can you please share that code?
Yeah.
So it worked with CSS, not the XPath.
With the name, it's like now what we.
Oh, you gave the name as spec one.
Yeah. As we are giving URL inside.
Okay, so might
yeah.
okay, so it might be considering ID and name as okay. Let's check this out. So you gave name as spec one. Although if you see, there is okay. Just a second. If you see here, right, there is no name, right? There is an ID thing. Right, spec one is an ID, not the name attribute. But maybe internally it has a code where if it might be looking for the name field inside either in the name attribute or in the ID attribute, similar to like URL, right? But let's check. I don't know about that information. Let's see. So where is that frame? Frame. This is page. Sorry, we are in the frame one, right? We have to be
class size.
Here, right? We have to be here.
Yes.
On the frame side. If you see, let's read about name. Frame names specified in the iframe's name attribute. Iframe's name attribute. See, here it is saying name attribute only, but if it is working on the ID, then that is an additional information which we are getting. Okay. But what we can also do is we can check on the DOM, right? We can also check on the DOM, like what is this about? Okay, let's see this. Let me check it on the DOM also. iframe hash spect1, right? This is the CSS path. Let's find it on the DOM. Let's clear this out. We'll say document dot query selector. We'll give the single double quotes, right? Double quotes. We got this, and we have to go at what? The name attribute, right? At get attribute, I believe. What is the method? Get attribute. Attribute name. If you see, right, there is,
Yeah.
and if I say ID, what happens? It does. You see, it gives you pact1, right? So there is nothing called name. It gives you null only, right?
Right.
But somehow internally it is working on the it is using ID as a name. Then that's up to this, right? It's an additional information not even given in the documentation.
Yes.
Okay, but again, right? So if you see, right, you cannot write a straight away XPath or CSS path, right? That is for sure, right?
Yes.
You cannot write an XPath or CSS path if you wanted to work with the frame part thing, right? So that is it. Okay, but as Kiran mentioned, for the name, right, it also works on the ID attribute. So you can just say, if you just, okay, if you have to use the name, right, if you have to use only name or ID, what you can do is just go and fill that value. Let's say pact1. So might be it will go and check inside the name attribute or the ID attribute. If it finds, it will give you, okay, yeah, I got this, right? Or if you want to use URL, then you have to use the object first of all. You will create an object, provide a URL attribute, right, and then give a value of the URL, whatever it is. This is how it is passed. Whereas in the frame locator, right, you can give the XPath or CSS path directly here, right? And since you would be writing all your code, right, using this strategy only, either of this, so you might find this to be a better thing to use. Okay, first difference. This is the first difference, that it is dependent on these two only. Here you can write anything which you feel like. Okay. Second, the major difference, right? The major difference, what I would like to tell here is, if you see here, right, how to say this? Okay, so if you see this, uh, this was okay. Let me give you the right terminology. Okay, in the context of playwright. Playwright, in the, see, in case of Selenium, it's a different terminology. There, the outermost frame, right, they call it as a root frame. Okay, a root frame. But in case of the Playwright, what they call this outermost frame as main frame. Okay, so every page you open, right, always have this mainframe thing, right, to it. Okay, do not confuse this mainframe with the mainframe terminology, right, which we use in development. Mainframe, that someone got a mainframe into mainframe domain and they are working on COBOL and Pascal over there. No, it's not about that mainframe. It's just the frame in which your HTML DOM is sitting. That's it. Okay, or your HTML document is sitting. So this outermost is called as a mainframe. Now, what we have in our page which you're testing right now is that we have frame 1, then you have a frame 2, then you have a frame 3, right? Frame 3. If you wanted to work on frame 3 here, right, using FrameLocator, the only option you have is you have to go sequentially. Okay, sequentially, right? Traverse sequentially to nested frame to work on it. We saw this on last time, right, that this is how it works to work on it, right? And if you want to use this, you can use it this way. Anand, do you have a query?
Yes, Akhil. Actually, I'm trying to execute the same code that you have written. For me, for some reason, it is not able to find the locator inside the if condition. So I'm just
Which
thinking,
code you're writing? The one which I have currently written? This
yes,
one?
yes, the frame
This will
one.
not this will not work, right?
No, no, not this one, not this one. When you were using page.frame URL concept.
This one?
Yeah, this one. For me, for some reason, it is saying that it is not able to, but
You,
it is coming as null, so it is not going inside the if condition.
you're not able to find this, you're saying.
Yes.
I'm using a Windows machine, you're using a Mac machine, right?
Okay, okay. I think I got the problem. I'm I'm checking
What
on
if
some. I'm checking on incorrect URL. Sorry to disturb. Sorry,
okay.
my bad. I
Okay.
thought I was on the correct page. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Okay. The other problem could be the Mac versus Windows, right? Which I will not get into, but yeah, it would be another problem. Okay. So
No, no, the earlier was working fine. On this one, I made a mistake in copying the.
no worries, no worries, no worries, no worries. Okay. So here, right, if you want to work on the frame three, right, over here, if any you need to and you decide to use frame locator, the only option you have to is you have the option is you have to go sequentially. You are already here, then you have to move here, then here, then here, then here, and then work on it. But in if you use frame, right, you do not have to follow that hierarchy. Okay. So this is like a major change. Okay, this is like a major shift if you compare this to WebDriver IO or maybe Selenium also, right? Where there in those cases, right, you have to go sequentially always. But using the frame concept, right, over here, it can it can automatically detect the nested ones also, right? Automatically. So if you wanted to work on this frame, right, the nested one, if you see here, right, which is this one, the most nested frame, which is this one. If you try to find this up, let me do inspect this. This is the input ID graph, right? Which is sitting inside where? Which is sitting inside this frame, right? ID pack3, this iframe. So what you can do is you can directly reach to this frame and access the element if you use frame instead of frame locator. Let's see this part, right? Let's see this example. So this is the second difference, right? Which I'm telling you. Yeah.
Okay, just refresh me. I think this is that same page we worked while working on WebDriver IO, and we were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
find that same IDs and all those stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes, 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 yes,
Oh,
yes. These are the same page.
is very helpful if it is able to directly find this nested iframe in this case.
Let me show you how, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see this.
Okay, this is great.
So So what we'll do is we'll use let's since we know ID also works on the named attribute, let's use this one and we'll go here and what we'll do is we'll say let me say frame, let me just give a name frame 3. Okay, any name I'm giving, let me just comment this out and I will use what I will just say pack 3, right? Pack 3. And if frame 3 I get it, I will try to go inside that frame 3 and try to find the locator with the input where ID equals to what? Where ID equals to, I think, Glaf. So that was the ID name which they have in place. Let's see. ID as Glaf, right? ID Glaf. And I would like to fill oxygen on it, right? So in the Destiny one, this one, right? This is the innermost one. So let's see whether this works or not. No. Okay. No, there is some mistake which I'm doing then. Okay. Let's just pack 3. I have the pack 3. Where is it? This is called as pack 3 only. Okay, let me try to use the source thing and okay. Okay. If it does not work in this way, I'll show you some other way also. Just a second. Okay, we'll use URL, right? You have a URL here.
Akhil, when I'm trying to just directly search pack 3 in the element locator, I can
Hmm.
see at two places pack 3 is written, and both of them seems to be iframe.
With the pack 3,
Yeah,
there's only one of one, right? See?
uh, is it the same page I'm open iframe / pack 3, right? I just typed pack 3 in my case.
Pack 3 might be doing something right. I don't know, like, but yeah, we're trying to do it with
It
iframes
worked
also.
for me. I used for I tried for pack 2 as well as pack 3. It worked for me directly.
directly, right? It was able to, you were able to fill it.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the code that I use.
You use name pack 3, right? Oh yes, yes, yes. Okay, you use name pack 3, right? Okay, great. So okay, so let's do this, right? Uh, See, there are too many rules to remember. So let's say pack 3, right? This is what Kiran did, right?
As well as the locator is also correct, right? The GLAF.
Yeah, yeah, this is what they have given. GLF. I always suspect this, but yeah, this is what they have.
Because I'm using the placeholder, so
Yeah,
that's
so this is,
possible.
yeah, this is there.
Okay.
So locator input fill Akhiljan, right? So let's try to run it. You see, it was able to fill Akhiljan, right, directly in the nested one, right? So see the convenience, right? What you're getting. Yeah, Anand.
Akhil, for some reason, when I'm trying to use name attribute, it is saying me that it is deprecated. Like, uh,
It says deprecated.
yeah, name is deprecated. Is it this? Isn't it
Give me the
saying?
code. Share the code, whatever you're writing.
Just I written this much already.
Okay, let's see.
Ta- 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 ta.
I don't have it. Have you pasted this? Yeah, you have pasted now.
Yeah.
Await page.go. Okay, you don't have to use. Okay, when you have to use name, right? It has to be under the braces, within the object braces.
It is because it's
Okay.
an
Oh,
You
object.
see, if you
oh,
use this one. Okay.
okay.
When it says you about the deprecated one, right? It is talking about the method which was earlier available on the frame directly, which
Okay.
is this. Where is it? Frame deprecated methods are these, right? And here you have, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No, it should be somewhere. If it is telling you are using frame name, right? Name. Okay, so on the okay, not here, right? You don't have to see here. You have to see here on the frame side, right? Inside this, it might be in the earlier cases, right? It might allow you to provide name outside the object, but no. If you have to give the attribute name like name, you have to put it inside the braces, right? You have to do it this way only. The
Okay.
object can have name and URL, so you can give both of them if you want, if you feel like, but either one of is also fine. Okay, so I
Okay.
hope it will work for you.
Okay.
Okay, so what we are seeing the difference is that if you want to directly work on a nested frame also, right, without going sequentially, right, then this is the best use of it, right? You can just directly find the locator of it, and Playwright will be able to find it and give it to you, and then you can access all the elements within it, right? So definitely a time saver in that case. So directly access directly access nested frames. Whereas if you use this, it is not possible through this. You have to go sequentially only. Okay. So third difference, right? Third difference is if you look at the frame locator library, right, or the class or an object, it has limited methods which are only around finding the elements, right? Using like locator, right? So once you are on the frame, you can find the locators within it, the elements within it, like using the locator as a method or get by all text and all that, right? So these are the only methods. So these are all finding the locators within it. If I show you again, frame locator, see these. Frame locator, get by text, right? Locator, right? If you want to find a locate frame within that frame, then you will use frame locator over there, right? If you want to find a normal locator, like input box and all, so you can use any of these, right? So this is what it has. Whereas if you compare to the frame one, right, there is so many other methods also available, right? So you can do more things, right? If you have this part, okay. So that's the third difference. More methods, more methods, right? uh, Including locator pun, right? The locator thing, whatever you have inside the frame locator, you're already getting it, but plus you have some lot of extra methods also available. Now if you see this difference, right, the difference between frame and frame locator from the Playwright perspective, right, these are the major differences that you see, right? So using frame, right, you are getting, you can I think, as Playwright also says in its own word, you should decide to use frame, right, if you are if you are dealing with a very complex scenario. Okay, with a very complex scenario, right? Otherwise, if you have to just work on a single frame, right, a page has a single frame and you want to find some element within it and work on it, frame locator will fill, I mean, is can help you to do that, right? But if you have a lot of nested frames and all that, and you have to deal, and you wanted to extract some information or do something around it, then using frame is a better approach, right? So I hope we are getting the answers to our question, like what is the difference in two. Okay,
Right. Yes.
now if we go back, right, let's start exploring the methods which are available on the frame. Okay, add script tag, style tag, remove it, right? Child frames, right? Child frames. So this method did not exist in the frame locator, right? But in the case of frame, right, you have a child frames locate method which can help you, right, to find all the frames which are child, right, which are the immediate child of this current frame. So if you see, right, if you see, if I am on the F1, right, if I am on F1 and I say go and file the child frames, how many child frames will it find? One or two? Immediate child. Immediate child.
Two.
Immediate is only one, right?
Right. One.
F2, right? F2 is the immediate child of F1.
Yes.
So what does child frame does is it gives you the frame, the immediate child of the existing frame wherever you are. If you do it right, I mean, if you're on this one, right, and you say child frame, you will get one. If it was like this, right, let's say that you have frame 2 and frame 4 as siblings, right, which are both the childs of F1, right? So in this case, it would have written you an array of frames. It will still give an array of frame, right? Array of frames, where the array will have this frame F2 and F4. Okay. So child frames give you access to the child, right? Right, child frames within the current frame. So okay, so let's write the code, right? Let's go and let's revalidate all this thing. So this is where we are. We are on the frame 3, and let's say oh, frame 3 will not help. Let's find frame 1. Okay, frame 1. Frame 1. Okay, if I do a child frame on frame 3, what will happen? How many frames will I get? I will get 0 frames, right?
Oh, sorry, what was the question again?
My question is, if I try to find child frames of frame 3, the innermost one, right?
Almost one. Yeah, there will be
Right?
no child.
No child, right? So it will be giving no child.
Yeah.
So okay, so this is it. Now let's also find the child of it. So we'll say frame 1 dot child frames, right? If you see, right, child frames returns you an array of frames. Why array of frames? Because it will collect all the child frames, put them together, and give it to you into an array. Okay, so that if you want to do something with it, you can then access the array and do things around it. Okay. Okay, so this is one thing, but again, the immediate childs only, not the nested childs, only the immediate childs. Child frames, right? So again, this does not return you a promise, so this is not required. We'll say let c frames equals to this. Okay, and you can print the output of this console.log. C frames are dot length. This is the array. So I'm trying to find the length. So here I should get 1 as an answer. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is child frame. Content. Content is a method, right, which exists on the page level also and here also, right? And if you use it, it will give you the it will give you the entire, what we should say, all the HTML tags, right, as it is as shown on the HTML DOM, right? It will just give you the HTML text. Like what? If you go here, right, on the page, if you go inside this frame, this one, and do give me dot content, right? Like frame dot content, it will give you what? It will give you this entire document, whatever it has within it, like same as it is. Okay, it will give you this if it is of use for you, right? For me, it is of no use, so I'm not running. But it will give you this all the HTML, the entire thing. Okay, so content method does that thing. Okay, what are the other methods? Drag and drop. We'll talk about drag and drop afterwards. Evaluate, handle. Again, we'll discuss evaluate and handle when we discuss about JavaScript code, which we have not done. Frame element and frame locator. Okay, we'll talk about these two. Get by alt text, label this. You already know these methods, right? This can help you to find the locator within the frame. So I'm not going to discuss about them. Go to method, right? Go to again is of no use for us because this is a frame and you cannot do much about it. Returns the main resource response and all, right? So again, you will not use it. Detached, right? Returns to the frame has been attached or false otherwise. Sometimes, right? Sometimes frames gets right, they get available on the screen for a because of some action, right? And similarly they go away because of some actions, right? So using this method you can check whether that frame which existed earlier, does it still exist on the page or not, right? Let's say because of some action the frame got removed, so you can check it using is detached method. It will return you a true or a false value. Again, it is not at least in our case that is not how it works, right? So it always stays. So if I use is detached, it will say false. Okay, but we can check. Let us check this. Frame one is detached. Does it got attached? No. This will return me a promise, so I'll have to use await. Okay, it does not return a promise. Okay, it's a boolean value. So we'll say is detached, and we'll say console.log is detached as. Okay, fine, right? Similarly is enabled, right? It will tell you whether it is enabled or disabled. So in our case, it will be enabled, so it would return true. But yeah, I'm not running it. Again, a locator method, right? So these all methods, frame locator, if you remember, right? Frame locator was also available here in the frame locator method, right? So frame locator helps you to find a locate a frame inside a frame, right? That is how it works. So all these methods, right, were available there also and here also. Locator also. Yeah, no.
Can you again explain the detached stuff?
Okay. See, detached again, if you see currently you see this iframe, right, being loaded in the DOM, right?
Hmm.
Somehow, let's say this gets removed because of some action, or let's say you did something. Now the frame is not available on the screen, right?
Okay.
So you want to check while working. Let's say you want to run some code, and before doing that, you want to make sure that the frame still exists, which existed earlier, but it does not exist now. So you can use is detached method.
Okay,
Okay,
like a
right.
okay.
So that's the only thing about it, right? In our scenario, it does not happen, so it should always say false.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So where I was here, right? Frame. So is enabled is there. Locator method I told you. Name, right? What does name give you? Returns frames name attribute as specified in the tag. Okay. As you can see in our frame, there was no name attribute, but the way it is working, I feel it might return you an ID, right? So we can check this. Let's check this, right? What does it return? So I will check this. It's very interesting for me now to check. Frame one dot name, right? So we'll just print this out. Console.log. Frame one name is frame one name is name. Okay. Okay. Fine. Name page, right? What does it? What page will give you, right? Page will give you the page on which this frame is sitting, right? If you check this, right, these frames are sitting on which page? This page, right? This entire page. See, what happens is you. What is the page in context of Playwright? It's the tab, right? It's the tab. It is that tab where you have opened the URL, right? This tab, correct? Right? if you are on this frame, let's say F3, F2, F1, or F4, or let's say F5, whatever frames, right? And you try to see and you do dot page, what will it return? It will give you the access to the page object on which these frames are currently being displayed, right? So it will just return the page object, which you already had the access to through the page thing, right? Which you injected here, correct? Where in which cases you might it might be of useful for you when you are working with multiple pages, right? And while working on multiple pages, multiple tabs, let's say you just want to make sure that you are on the right page or not, right? And so accordingly you can use it. So it just gives the reference back to the page on which that frame was opened. Okay. What is the other thing? Parent frame. Now, if you see here, right, the F3 frame, right? F3 frame, this one, F3 frame. If you try to see like who is the parent frame of F3, F2, right? F2. If you try to check the parent frame of F2, who is the parent frame? F1. If you check it for F1, who is the parent frame? This main frame, right? This outermost one. Okay. Now tell me who is the parent frame of this outermost frame? No one. So if you try to do a parent frame on this outermost, it will give you null. Okay. So parent frame, you can check here, right? Parent frame, if any, right? Main frames returns you null if you try to do a parent frame on it. Okay. Okay. What do we have more? Set content, ignore it. Title, right? Title will give you the page title. Okay. The title shown on the page. It has nothing to do with the frame. It just gives the title of the page itself. URL. URL, it gives you the frames URL, right? The URLs which we are trying to access, which are these, right? These URLs. So you can get the URLs here. And then you have wait for function, wait for load state, wait for URL, right? Wait for the frame to navigate to the given URL. Okay, so this is again, right? We will discuss about these two afterwards, right? But what if you see, right, above method those, right? There are some methods which are different from what you had in the frame locator. So if you had the intention of working on any of those methods, then choosing frame as an object, right, would be a better choice. Okay. Now, what all we have to see? Let me write the methods which are important from the frame side. What we'll do is we will talk about this name thing, right, which we have talked about. You can also check URL if you want to, but the important part is this parent frame. Okay, parent frame, which I'll tell you the locator thing. So we'll work on the locator part, locator method, parent frame, the name attribute, the name thing, and we have one more. So these I am not going to touch on. These are same as the other ones. We'll discuss about frame locator. Again, frame locator we have already discussed earlier also, but let's see here. Okay, so these are the four methods, right? Which these two are already there in the frame locator itself, but these are available here also, right? Parent frame and name is something which is new, which you can check. And what else? If you see, right, you have an evaluate method also, and all this which was not available here. But we'll discuss about this once we start discussing our JavaScript code, right? And you have child frames also. Yes, this method is also available. Child frames. Okay, so you can see these methods available. These are not available on the frame locator. Okay, let's try to access them. So child frames we have already seen, right? Is detached we are checking, name we are checking. Let's check our parent frame. So we are on this frame, right? Which is the I think the F1 frame. If I do a parent frame on it, what will I get? Let's see this. I'll say parent. I will say frame one dot parent frame. And what does it return me? It returns me a frame, right, directly. Okay, so let's say P frame. And since it will be like the frame object itself, right? It returns me a frame object or a null value. So what I can do is I can check the URL of that frame, and by looking at the URL of that frame, I can know that which parent it is referring to, right? Let's see. Console.log p frame URL is p frame URL is p frame, right? Okay, so we'll p frame dot URL, sorry, dot URL. Okay, we'll do it there. Let's just a second. It returns you a string. Okay, this. Okay, let's leave it like this. Okay, let's leave it like this. Parent frame URL it will give. And the one more thing which we'll do is we'll say parent frame name. And what else? Yeah, child frame, right? I wanted to show you the child frames also. So let's print it here. We'll do the URL of the child frame also. No worries, Kiran. From child frame URL is c frame 0 dot URL.
Why are we appending this zero? Okay, if you can
C
again.
child frames returns you an array of frames,
Okay.
right? So C frames is an array. So I know it has only one frame, right?
Yeah.
Which would be coming at the 0th index, right? So I'm accessing the 0th index from that array, which will give me that frame. And on that frame, I'm running URL method. Okay.
Got it.
So let's run this now and see what is happening.
We are currently just testing one child frame name, URL, and name.
Parent frame, right? Parent frame, child frame with reference to this frame. So we what we want to do is we have identified, we are working on this frame, right? So if I ask you from UI perspective, who's the child frame of this one? The below one, right?
Yeah.
Because you cannot make that judgment from the UI. You will have to see the HTML doc, right? You cannot decide from the UI. But since you have seen that HTML DOM, that's why I'm saying, right? If you have to find the child of this frame, you will find that this is that frame, the child. Now, if I ask you who is the parent of this frame, this page, right? This boundary of this web page, right? This HTML page is the parent of this frame, right? Similarly, if you were here, right? Let's say, right? Who is the child of it? If you have to go, if you would go in the DOM, you will get to know that this is the child of this.
Yeah.
And who is the parent of this? This is the parent of this, right? Not the page. This frame only, right? This frame, because this is covered by this frame. So he becomes the parent, right? Let's see. Let's close this out and see the output. In this case, if you see, right, the first part, we are on that first Xbox. I'm trying to ask him, tell me how many child frames I have. You can see it said it has only one frame, right? It has only one child, right? Which is this one. Okay. Then I asked him, okay, give me the URL of my child frame. Correct? That is what I'm asking. So you see, right? What is the URL gave? It gave me this URL. Let's try to find this. Which URL it is. If you go here and try to find this iframe, right? Tech2, right? You see this frame. This is the child of this frame, right?
Yeah.
So this is giving the correct answer, right?
Correct.
The URL of this,
Yes.
this URL is the URL of this frame, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now we are checking, is our frame detached? Has it gone? Has it been removed from the DOM? It said false. No, it is not. It has not been detached. It is still there, right? Okay, great. Now I'm trying to check the name of the frame. If you see, right, it gave me pact1. So
Current. Current frame, not the child frame.
If you were accessing child frame, you would access it through C frame, right?
Yeah.
I'm accessing through frame one
One only,
variable,
yeah. So current frame.
right?
Okay.
The current frame, right? So I'm saying frame one dot name. Now, as the definition of it say that it goes and finds the name attribute, but there is no name attribute. What it is collecting, it is currently showing me the ID attribute value, right?
ID.
But that is again what we just noticed earlier also, so it works. Okay, it gave you pact1. Now I'm trying to ask him, give me the parent of this frame. You see, parent frame.url. What URL did it give? This URL, right? Now, can someone tell me which this URL is about? Whose URL it is?
The parent of Act 1. So
So
above.
this
O1.
one, right? Now,
Yeah.
so where would you find that URL? If I try to find it here, let's see. Not this one, right? Let's say, yeah, copy, Control C. If I go and try to find it here, you see it here, right? Where did it give you? On the topmost thing, right? Let us show you. Okay, it is here, right? In the topmost thing. What is the topmost thing? This is inside the head tag, right? This one, this head tag, and this head tag is the outermost HTML tag, right? This one, right? And this is what? The entire page. If you see your URL here, right? This is this URL. So this frame, right? This frame was a part of which frame? If you go and check, right, again, this input box is a part of this iframe, right? So this is the frame which you're talking about. This frame is a, who's the parent of this frame? Let's scroll up and tell me if you see any iframe above. Till now we have not seen, right? We are scrolling. There is no iframe yet. There is no iframe, right? You'll end it up where? On this HTML, right? Which covers that iframe, right? So who becomes the parent of that frame? This body tag, right? Or this HTML thing, correct? And this is your main frame, right? This is what your main frame is, the outermost HTML thing. And what is the URL of this frame? This is the URL of this frame, and that is what it gave you.
Okay, so it just not rely on the frame tag, but it also picks up the immediately above tag if there are no frames.
See, again, right? If there is no other iframe tag, right, in the DOM, right, what it'll do is it will land up where? In the main frame, right, which is the root of this, right?
Okay.
Right, that is what it is. It is landing up there. And what is the URL of that main frame thing? The page URL. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what it is giving. Okay. Okay, so these are the methods which you have on the frame side, right? And now you know the difference, right? If you now again compare frame to frame locator, using frame you can get access to child frames, you can get access to parent frames, right? So it maintains that relationship. If you want to work on a specific locator, you have all the methods available, right? If you want to check the state of these, like is detached and is enabled, again those are there. If you want to get the name or the URL attribute, those are there, right? And there are some wait mechanisms also, right? Wait for load state and wait for URL. Again, we'll discuss it afterwards if there would be need. I don't think you will ever need them, but okay, right? So those are the two again methods which are available. Now, one last thing on the frame side. Okay, one last thing on the frame side. If we go back to the page thing, right? If you go back here, okay, just a second. If you go back on the frame, on the page, right, where all this discussion started. So this is the frame. This is the frame locator. There is something called frames, which is a third method, right? Third method, frames. Now, what does frames give you? Frames will do what? It will collect all the frames which are attached to the page and form an array out of it, and it will give you all the frames. Okay. So if you see here, right, this is your page. If you check here, how many iframes you have? Let's see. Where it went, right? Iframe, right? If you see, right, there are 7. It shows you 1 of 7, right? There are 7 tags with iframe. But what are the ones which are enabled? So there are, I believe, 4. One is this one, right? You can see packed 1. If you see this frame, right, this is disabled. Display is none, right? This is not displayed, so it will not be counted in Playwright's count. Okay, so it will not be looking at it. So this again would be counted. So 2, again this will not be counted. This will be counted. So our count is 3 right now. This will not be counted because this is disabled. And the last, okay, this will also not be counted. This is what? TDO chat code, right? So it shows 7 right over here with the iframe thing, but 4 are disabled ones. So 3 are here, right? Which is this one, and this one. But there is a fourth one also, which is what? The main frame, right? The main frame, correct? So if you like if you go by this example, right? You have this page, right? Okay, let's say there are no iframe tags, right? Let's say there are no iframe tags, and you do page dot frames here, right? Tell me how many frames will you get? You will get how many frames? One,
One topmost
right? The topmost one, which is called with the name as main frame.
main frame.
So it always exists, right? It always exists. But in a page, if you have an iframe tag also, right? Let's say this one. If I do a page dot frame here, right? What I'll get? I'll get an array of 2 frames. One this frame and second this frame. So it will give you the count of 2, right? If you have, let's say, third frame like this, right? It will give you what? How many counts? 3. If you have fourth frame, right? The nested one also, right? Those are also counted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it will give you 4. Getting it? So it is a very handy method, page dot frames. Let's say you have a question. If someone asks you, okay, tell me how many iframes I have in the page, right? This is the simplest thing which you will do. You will say page dot frames. It will see in the HTML DOM and collect all the iframes, whether nested or not. Okay, and it will give you all the frames access to it, right? And since it returns you what? It returns you frame object. It gives you an array of frames, right? It does not give you array of frame locators, right? It gives you what? Array of frames. And since it gives you array of frame, it means that if you try to access any of these frames, right, within this array, you can directly access that frame, whether it is in the nested state or not, and directly access the elements within it. Let me show you how. What I mean. So we are done with this one, right? So let me just put one thing. Let me just copy this, select this out, test iframe 4 async. Oh, sorry, page. We'll do what? Okay, I think I copied the code, right? Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, so we are here, right? So, and after this, what I'll do is I'll just try to collect all the frames which I have on this page. So I will do page dot frames. Okay, frames, and it will return me what? It will return me array of frame, right? You can see. So there is no use of await since it does not return me a promise. So I'll say let frames equals to this, right? It will give me. Now let me check how many frames will it return. Total frames are frames dot length, right? So length is a property, I believe, right? It's a property. Yeah. This is how you do it. And now I know that this will collect all those frames, right? Frame, all these frames, frame 0, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, right? Now, since it is, see what it did. Okay, let me try to do this. Okay, let me try to explain this over here. We are discussing too much on frame, I know, but this is I mean needed, right? Because Playwright is giving you access to a specific object, right, for the frame itself, and that to 2 different objects. So there has to be clarity about it. Okay, did someone join? Okay, fine. Yeah, right. So what I'm saying is, if you look at your page, right, and you have this one and this one, let's say, and this one, right? This is the main frame, This is spec1, this is spec2, this is spec3. When I will do page dot frame, right? Frames, what it will give is it will form an array, right? And it will see, first of all, it will see main frame. Okay, it will push that main frame here. This will be placed with the 0th index. At the first index, it will see P1, right? And it will place P1. At the second index, it will place P2. And third index, it will place P3. If I take the length of the array, what is the length? 4. Now, if I want to directly work on this P2, right? This one, what I have to do? I will just say, frames second index dot. If you do this right, what are you getting access to? You are getting access to the frame object, right? Representing this frame, P2. And you can use all these methods which are placed here, right? Let me take one extreme example. Let's directly work on this frame, right? Frame 3, which is the innermost one, P3, right? So I will say frames 3, and we were filling up the value, right, in the last code. Let's collect it from here. We were filling it up where? Frame 3, frame 3. Oh, I removed it. Okay. I might be having somewhere else also. Here, right? This says current correction. No, I don't need current correction. Let's copy this entire thing and come down. What I will do is I'll say frames. This is the third one, the last, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? The fourth one. And I need to find the ID of this destiny one. Let's find this out. This is graph. Okay, this is graph. So I'll say ID equals to graph. And I want to fill pot test, and I will say await page dot pause. Okay, let's see whether you can see, right? I'm collecting all the frames, and out of that frame, I know that it would be sitting on the fourth frame here, right? So I will select directly from there. Where it went? Here, right? Yeah. Let's run it. I'm doing something wrong. What am I clicking? Cannot read property of undefined reading locator.
Will it be frames of 2 or frames of 3?
Oh, total frames are 3. It gave, okay. Okay. There is a problem for load state. Okay. Okay. So what should I do? I should be waiting for the. Okay. No, the problem here is that the fourth frame did not load it correctly, right? While navigating, right, what happened was it attained the state of the load, that the ready state was as completed, but during that process, right, only 3 frames were able to be loaded. The fourth frame did not came into the picture, so it only created the 3 of them. We wanted the fourth one, so we need to wait more. So what I can do here is I can do what? There is a method, right, I believe, which is to await page dot wait for timeout, and we will wait for, let's say, what can we give? Timeout number, right? So we'll say 5 seconds, let's say. Okay, we'll say 5 seconds. Okay. Tejo, I think you have a network issue, right?
Oh, yes, that's why I'm again
Okay.
stopping the call and again joining it.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so wait for timeout, and then we're trying to get the frames. And okay, right. So let's. Is it still running? Yeah, please. Who's this? I cannot see the screen. Yeah, please go ahead.
Akhil, for me, the frame count did came to 4, but
Hmm.
for me, still failed.
Still failed. What did it say?
Actually, timed out on 30,000 milliseconds and
On which line? Finding
on
the locator?
frame, yeah, finding a locator on the locator, it was
And
saying.
you're giving the right locator to it in this
Yes, yes,
case.
ID equals to GLAF. That's what I'm, yeah, that's the same I'm giving.
You're not putting double slash or something, right? Or at the rate. It's a
Oh,
CSS path.
oh, okay, okay, okay. Is it? Why do I keep making these mistakes? I was putting up double slash.
No
Is a
worries.
CSS one, right? Yeah. Let me retry.
You can also give a
But without
get path also, right? But
types.
it should be a valid path, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There might be a mistake on that part. No worries.
Okay, it worked for me
Yeah.
without wait.
So yeah, so I mean again, right? You can see for me also, right? It gave me four, right?
Yeah,
Total four frames, right? And let us see the value on the UI. You see, it was able to fill pot test also,
yeah,
right? So
right.
my point here is that first of all you have to understand the difference between frame and frame locator, right?
Mhm.
If there is a nest, and the difference gets cleared when you're talking about nested frames. If you have to work on the nested frame, let's say the fourth frame, right, which is the nested, which is like four layers down. So if to work on it, if you try to use frame locator, you have to go sequentially only, one by one only, right? There is no way to directly access that frame. But if you want the direct access, you should have to use the frame method, right? That frame method, right? And you will get access to it. But what is the third method here, right? There is a method called frames. What it will do is it will give you an array of it will see how many frames you have on the screen. It will collect all of them and form an frame object for each one of them, and then put it into an array and give it to you, right? Since this array contains the frame object, right, you can then it means that you have the direct access to that nested frame, right? You just need to know the index position of it. If you know the index position, just access it, and whatever you want to do with that frame, you can do, like I am doing it, right? I did not have to go to frame 1, then frame 2, and then frame 3. No, I can directly access frame 3 and access it and do my job. This is a big saving over what we have learned in WebDriver or Slang, where you do not have a direct way to reach to the frame. There is always a sequential flow. Okay. Okay, I think we have done enough of frame thing discussion, right? But this is how you work on frames. So let's stop our discussion on frame and let's move ahead to something else. Any question on the frame side?
No.
Okay, great, right? And I hope, right, you are also clear about the difference in the two. So now, Anand, tell me, which one will you use, frame locator or frame?
Frames.
Frame, why?
The the main difference that you one of the main difference that you mentioned, that it does have as its all the methods from frame locator, as well as it has more methods available to work with frames, so it makes
Right, and you get and this will be a best. I mean, it could be a best decision because if you wanted to work on a nested frame,
yeah, and the
right,
nested frame,
nested
yeah,
frame. But
yeah.
if your page does not have a nested frame and there is only one frame, then I would suggest you to use frame locator directly. Okay,
Okay, okay.
okay. So and that is where you will see a lot of people using that thing only. Okay, the frame locator. But if you have more than one level of frames involved, directly move to frame. Do not use frame locator then. Okay, so that's the clue for anyone to decide which one to use, either frame or frame locator, right? Okay, I hope the answer is yes. So let's move ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, we have to discuss about two more things. Okay, no, there is one more thing left, right? There are some methods. There are some methods which you have to know. We discussed about three methods. Okay, at the page level. So page level, there was a frame. We discussed about it. We discussed about frames, which gives you an array of frame. And there's a third method called frame locator, right? Frame locator. Okay, we got all three. And there's one more method which is called main frame. Now, by now, you must be able to understand this. If you try to say page.mainFrame, right, and try to access it, what will it give you? It will give you a frame object, and that frame would be represented in which frame? The main frame, the outermost frame. Okay. If you go right, there is a method called mainFrame also. Mainframe, right? The page mainframes. Page is guaranteed to have a mainframe which persists during navigation. Okay. And it will convert that thing into a frame object and give it to you, and then you can access the methods on it. Okay, right. So this is another method, and there are two more things which I wanted to tell you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Uh, okay, I think I have the answer, but still want to confirm. If I try to access the frame square bracket, and then if I give in 0 as a value, it won't take me the main frame, right? It will still be in the first frame inside the main frame.
It will be on the main frame then, right?
It will be on the main frame.
Yes, it will be on the main frame, right? And what does it mean? What does it mean? It means that it is like it is something like that you are accessing the outermost HTML tag, right?
Yeah.
Which you also get access through what? Page object also, right?
It also, yeah.
Right. So this is like you can just try to understand this way, that main frame is a way for you to convert your page into a frame object.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. You can think of in that direction. Getting it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I know that it could be too much to understand, but since you asked this question, it's a very good question. So see, understand this. If you look at a web page, open it up, right? I've been saying that if you want to do something on this page, you do what? You do how? You say page dot locator, right? That is how you find this, correct? Let's say there is an input box, username, right? And if you want to fill value on it, what is the first thing which you will do? First of all, you will uh, what we say, inject the page fixture, right, into test case. You will say page dot go to, and then you will say page dot locator, right, input box, and you can fill the value. This is one of the way to fill the value, correct or not?
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm saying, let's say I ask you, okay, give me another way to do it, right? And then you will say, okay, Akhil, let me make you a fool. Let's do one thing. Let's say page dot mainframe. Now right here, right, when you were look at this part, right, this area, what is this representing? A page object, correct?
The whole, yeah.
The page object, right? The page object. Now when I say page dot mainframe, what is this mainframe accessing? It is still accessing this thing only, right? This boundary, correct? This is what mainframe is accessing, right or not?
Right. Right.
Right. This is what it is accessing. But as soon as you said mainframe, what object do you get? You get a
Frame
frame
object.
thing, right? Frame object.
Right.
So in a way, you have done what? You have converted your page object into a
Mm-hmm.
frame object, right? And now, if
Mm-hmm.
you want, right, you can access the methods of the frame on it, right? Whatever you feel like. And there is also a method called locator on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can write the same thing here also. Input box dot fill Akhil. So a longer way to write the same code as this, right? So you will never do this, but it is also possible, right? But in this case, right, you are doing what? Till here, right, your page, and as soon as you came here, right, you became a frame, right?
Yeah.
So this is just one way, right, to see this thing, right? You're converting a page into, how do you convert your entire page into a frame or into a frame object? By just calling the frame main frame method. Getting it?
Got it.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, okay, one more thing, right? Since we discussed this, let me just discuss two more things. Uh, there are two additional things. How to explain this? Okay. If um, you saw this here, right? You saw this page, this frame, right? Let's go to this frame first. You see this frame? This is this frame, right? This is this frame. Okay. Now, if I ask you to write an XPath of this iframe, can't you write it? At least I can write it, right? I can do what? I can say iframe id equals to fact1 at the rate
Yeah,
sign, right? At the sign. This is how you write an XPath, right?
expect.
Now, if I ask you, okay, Anant, do not use iframe concept, use the concept of locator only to find this frame. What will you do? You will say, okay, let me draw the page again. So this is your page. This is your frame one, right? This is your frame, right? Inside which you will have something, right? But currently I'm just asking you to find this frame. What you can do is you will say, okay, page, then locator also you can do, right? And you can provide that XPath which I just wrote, right? Which is iframe
Hmm.
at the rate id equals to fact1, right?
Right.
You can do this one, and this will be able to find the locator which represents this frame, right? But this will return you what? Locator thing. It will give you a locator object, correct?
Correct.
Locator object. Now similar thing exists here also. Now I am not satisfied with locator. I want a frame object. How can you do it? I want to convert into a frame object. If you have that intention, locator also has a method on it which is called as content frame. It does what? It converts this locator into a frame object, right? So this will here you will get a what? You will get a frame, and then you can access the method of the frames on it. Getting it?
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, it can also be reversed. Let's say you have access to the frame. Let's say you said frame, right? And then here your page, here you became a frame, right? Here you got a frame. Now let's say, right, you wrote a frame thing for it, right? Let's say it has a URL and you provided a URL here.
Hmm.
URL equals to, let's say, pot test, whatever that is, right?
Hmm.
Now I want to convert this frame into a locator. How can I do it? There's a method on the frame which is called as, I believe it is called as, okay, just a second. There is something which we can use on the frame. Where is it? Just a second. Let me just check. Child frames, evaluate frame element. Frame element. No, this is not what we'll use. Photo is enabled. Name page. Set content. No, not locator. Okay, it is. Oh, sorry. It is not at the frame. Sorry, it is not at the frame. My bad. It is not at the frame. It is the something else. Okay, let me just tell you. Okay, sorry. Let me show you locator method first of all. Just a second. I made a mistake there itself. If you look at the locator method content frame, right? This may. If you look at here, right? What does content frame gives you? It gives you frame locator, not the frame. Okay, it gives you frame locator. So my all my explanation is fine, but here it does not give you a frame. It gives you a frame locator. So if you wanted to convert a locator into a frame locator, right? You will call a content frame method on it. Okay, and it will get a frame locator, and you can get access the methods of frame locator over there. Now the reverse of this is also true. What you can do is you can use page dot frame locator, give the XPath or whatever the value you want to give of that frame locator. So you will get what frame locator here, right? If you want to convert this frame locator into a locator, how will you do it? There is a method on the frame locator available which is called as honor. If you call it, you will get a locator convert frame locator converted into a locator. Okay. Again, I'm just telling you because these methods exist, right? It's not that you will have to use any of these, right? You can just say frame locator dot honor. You will get the locator from there. Okay. So three things, right? You can convert your uh, page into a frame, right? By doing what? By calling main frame method on the page, right? Main frame. And then you can also do some you can convert your locator into a frame locator, or you can do the reverse of this. You can convert your frame locator into a locator. Okay. So to do this on the frame locator, there's a method called owner which will do this. On the locator, there's a method called content frame. will you use it? I don't think so. Okay, you will not use it, but since these methods exist, these things exist, so I'm telling you. Okay, so this is what you have to understand about frame. Okay, everything around frames, and there is nothing more to understand about this. Okay, I think we are good, right? Let's get back to our normal discussion now. Let's close this up. We'll discuss about two things now. Okay, very quickly. We'll just take 15 minutes more. Let me open my website. Okay. Now, if I have to fill the text on this text box, what would be my code? Tejaswari, if you are there in the call, you there? No, if she's not there. Hassan, you know this? If I want to fill up this text here, right? What would the code I will write in Playwright? Hassan is also not there. Okay, great. Anand, then you are only one left here.
Double slash input. We'll use the input tag.
No, give me the Playwright code. Don't, let's assume that you have an XPath of it. What
Okay.
will you do? You will say
Uh,
page dot
Paste, go to
locator,
the and then page dot locator and
and
in the
then give the
locator
XPath or CSS path of it, right?
and dot
And
fill.
then dot fill, right? That's the method you will use, right? So dot
Yeah.
fill is an API method, right? Or it's like a library method given to you by Playwright to do it, right?
Okay.
Right. Now let's
Mm.
say that you don't want to use that method and you want to use your keyboard strokes, right? Let's say I want to fill Akhile, right? Mimicking my keyboard pressing, right, of the keys, right?
Okay.
Right. Or let's say I want to do a right click somewhere like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, how to do all these kind of activities? Okay. So that's our next discussion.
Okay.
Let's discuss this, and it will not take much time. It's a very quick discussion here. Delete. Okay, I got my electricity back. Just a second. Okay, yeah, fine. So what we are discussing, yeah. So we have to now discuss about how to perform mouse events and keyboard events. Okay, mouse events and keyboard events. Now let's just first understand, when it comes to mouse, what can you do? What can you really do? You can
Scroll.
you can scroll. Okay, let's say scroll. When you say
Left.
scroll, right, what are you doing? You are moving your wheel, right?
Yeah.
You can move your wheel, right, which is there on the mouse. So to scroll, right, you have to use wheel, right, like the wheel which is there on the thing, right?
Mhm.
Second of all, you can make a click, right?
Click.
A right click and a left click, right?
Yeah.
So these are right or left click. Or let's say you can also move your cursor, right? Move cursor, right? Let's say you can move your cursor, right? Left, right, up, down, and all, right? So these are the only options which are available through the mouse, which you can do. Now using these if you combine all this, you can do a lot of things like drag and drop, right? You will go somewhere, click over there, then drag your mouse, right?
Yeah.
Which means moving your cursor, and then drawing this line and coming and saying release the click, right?
Yeah.
Something like this, right? You can do all this. So there is something called like you want to release the click which you made on the mouse, right? So down and up, right? So all these methods are something, right, which you would like to do, you can do on a mouse. Now
Mhm.
coming on to keyboard, right? On the keyboard, what can you do? You can press the key, right? Press means, again, there are two ways to do it. One is pressing down, and one is moving up, right? Pressing up, which is releasing the key, right? So this is called as key down and key up, right? These two things you can do on different keys. And the important part is there are so many different types of keys, right? Different types of keys. And you might try to do a combination of keys. Let's say you want to copy, right? So what do you do with copy? You press two keys together, which is control plus C, right? That is what you can do. You can use modifier keys, right? So these are modifier keys, control, shift, and all that. Okay. And what can you do? You can press key down, key up. You can send some text, right, by pressing, let's say, the whole text and all that. So again, what my point here is that these are the full set of things which you can do with a keyboard and a mouse as an operation, right? But now it is up to your creative thinking, right? That using these small things, what bigger things you can achieve, right? Let's say, as I was saying about drag and drop, right? In your mouse, there is no button which says, okay, drag and drop this. No, you do drag and drop using all these activities by combining those operations, right? Similarly, in the keyboard, you can do a Control C, Control V, right? By doing all that thing.
Tab
Okay,
in, tab out, all
right?
this.
Tab and all that, right? You will have to you have to understand how to use them in combination, right? That is what you have to learn. But
Right.
if I talk about the core things which you can do, these are the only things which you can do, right? Now, if you see, right, in Playwright, there are separate objects for them. One is the mouse. Okay, this is the mouse. If you look at the method here, right, the methods available on the mouse is click, double click, down, up, wheel, move. This is what we discussed, right? These are the only things available which you can do on a mouse, and they have very specifically even separate methods for them. Similarly, if you want to access keyboard thing, so there is a here, right, keyboard. You can down press the key, you can up the key, you can press the key, you can insert some text. So these are the only 5 methods which are available, okay, on the keyboard side. Now, how do you access keyboard and mouse, right? Let's see. If I want to fill some text here, like, okay, like, let's go there. Let's learn this very quickly. You come here, test. I'll say keyboard async. We'll say page, and we'll say await page dot go to, and the URL is different now. This is this one. Okay, so this is our URL. Now we want the locator of it. So locator is, I believe, input name email. Okay, await page dot locator input name equals to email. Right, and then what is the usual way? We say go and fill. This is what we do. Let's say Akhil Jain. This is what we'll do, and we'll say await page dot pause. Okay, great, right? So let's run it and see. Okay, why it is not working? Why I do not see a button here? Here I see it again. Let's just make sure it works. You see, this is how it works, right? Okay, we know this from day one. Okay, fine. What is new there? Nothing new now. Now we'll see the new part, right? We can do what now? We'll say we wanted to access the thing, right? So what we'll do is await page dot keyboard. Now, if you want to access the if you wanted to access the what we say, see, if I want to mimic the keyboard thing, right? How will I do it? First of all, I need to make a click here, right? This is the first thing. Second thing, once the I have clicked on it, the cursor flashes on it, right? So now if I go to my keyboard and press something, who will receive the events? This text box, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So there are two steps involved. One is to make a click, and second, to press my keys, right? Like this. Okay. How can I do it? For doing this, I will use page dot locator here, right? And I will say dot click. It will make a click. Okay. It is like a left click, right? If you do it this way, okay, let's discuss about left and right click also. If you want to make a left click, right, then this method is sufficient. If you want to make a right click, in the same method, you will do what? You will go there, open the braces, and button, you will say right. Button goes to right. That's it. Now it will do what? It will make a right click. Okay. In some of the cases, even if you can press your wheels, right? Wheel part also. So that is like your middle click. So if you want to do that, you can just replace it with middle. Now my job is to click on the left side, right? So I will keep it left. Or I can just ignore all this and still a left click. Okay. But we'll try this one. Now next thing. Now my my text box has the cursor flashing there, right? Now I want to fill some text on it. So if I just now I have clicked on it, if I go to my keyboard and type something, right? Who will receive the clicks? Where the cursor was there, right? So to do that, you need access to the keyboard object, right? Now to how do you get access to keyboard? Can you just directly access keyboard like this? Let's see. Is there something called keyboard? No.
Yeah.
Keyboard event is something else, right? It's an interface, right? This is
Okay.
not something we're trying to deal with. We want keyboard, right? This one.
Okay.
Keyboard object, right? How do you get access to this?
From
You get
page.
access to this from the page. If you go back to the page, let's go from here. Page. There are two methods available on the page. One is the mouse and second is the keyboard. Where is the mouse? This is the page, right? Mouse. Array, yeah, where it went? Okay, mouse. Okay, ignore the mouse part. Let's see the keyboard first. Where is the keyboard? You were seeing, right? Have I opened the correct page? Array, you were seeing, right? Where it went? Here, right? These are the properties, right? These are the properties, keyboard and mouse, right? These are not the methods. These are properties on the page object. Okay, mouse and keyboard, right? So if you want to access the let's say the keyboard object, right? What will you do is you will just come to the await.page, right? And access the keyboard and you will get it, right? Now this keyboard gives you what? Access to the keyboard object, right? Keyboard object. And since you got the access to keyboard object, you can do all these operations: down, press, type, and all that. Okay, so let's type it first, which is the most easiest one. We'll just say dot type, and you can give the text here. Let's say I want to write Akhiljan, right? So this is same as, so combining these two things, right? You are achieving what? This stuff. Are we clear with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so type thing. It returns your promise, right? Which is nothing, so leave it. Okay, great. Now this will do it, right? Let's do one more thing. Let's assume that I want to, let's say, I want to do a copy and a paste operation, right? Copy and a paste operation. How will I do it? Let's say I want to copy this login, right? See what I'm doing, right? I am coming to this login. I'm making a double click on it so that it gets highlighted, right? So two things I did. First of all, I find the locator of it. Second, I double clicked on it, right? Third thing I will do what? I will go to my keyboard and press Control C. Okay. Now the fourth thing, I will go to the password and make a click on it. And fifth thing, I will do a Control V. So login got pasted there, right? This is a control. This is like a copy paste operation, right? Let's say I want to do it, right? I want to do this operation. How will I do it? I can do it through the keyboard thing. Let's do it. Let us first find the locator of it. Where is it? Here, right? Locator of login. Login is this one, right? Text center login. Login form inner, right? Let's find this one. Login form inner, and there's an h1 tag. Yes, I got it. Let's copy this. So we are done with this. I will say await page dot locator. I will paste it here, and I need to do what? I found the login thing, right? I need to double click, right? Double click. So there's a method available, double click on the locator, which you can use. Okay, double click. So this will make what? Again, you have an option to double click right, left, right, or middle, whatever you want to do, right? And there are so many other things, right, which you can do. But again, I will leave it for you to check this out. I cannot cover everything, but yeah, you can please explore this, right? Okay, coming back to our part, double click, right? So it can be this way, and it will, and as you can see, right, it will highlight that login textbook, right? Now it now you can assume that it has happened. What has happened? That it has gone and done this. It got highlighted. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to do Control C, right? Copy the that. How do I do it? By pressing Control C. For doing that, I will go to page dot keyboard dot. Now if you see, right, there is a option to down, press and up. Now I can ask you, right? Uh, okay, like type does what? Insert text. Okay, I don't know the difference between insert text and type. Just a second. Uh, Insert text dispatches only input event, does not emit the key down, key up, or key press events. Okay, to use sends a key down and key up events for each character in the text. Okay. Okay, it's more a technical difference here, right? So I would prefer, right, to use type. Okay, use type, not the insert text. Okay, so let's assume that it does not exist. Okay, which is fine. But now there is another question here, right? You see three methods: press, up, and down. Now, what is the difference between press and down? Pressing means you are pressing down, right? Now here is the case, right? See, if I ask you to do a control, I'm asking you to press control key, right? What will you do? You will find the control key on the keyboard, go there and press it, right?
Yeah.
Press it, and then do what? Also release it, right? You will release it. So if I ask, if I have to see this in this keyboard thing, how will I achieve it? If I want to just, I want to keep pressing, I want to press Control C and let it be pressed, right? If that is the intention, what I will do is I will use down. Okay, I will use down method. I will use down and say mention there that press down which key? Press down the control key, right? It will keep control key being pressed. Okay, it will not release it. Okay, if you want to release it, you will have to specifically do a up method. You will have to call the up method and then it will release it. Okay, but if you would have used press method, right, what press method will do is it will press the control key and then release it also. Getting it? So it is like it is doing both the operations and using one method. Okay,
Okay.
so let's do this way, right? What we'll do is we will use press. Okay, we'll use press here, and what we have to do is we have done this part, right, and now we need to do Control C, right? Let's go here, press. Now you have now here, what can you provide here, right? You see here it is already giving you the name of the keys which you can type, and
Oh,
they have to match this one only. Okay, so I wanted to do what? I wanted to press Control, right?
mhm.
Let's copy this and put it as a, it takes text. Okay, it takes text as an input. Okay, string as an input, but it has to be this way. Control, right? Now I wanted to press two things: Control plus C, right? So if you wanted to do like combination of keys, right, press together, what you should do is you should use concatenation operation, which is plus, and just say C. Very easy, right? Just say page keyboard dot press Control C. It will press it, right? And it will also release the keys after being pressed. Okay, automatically. Other option was to do what? Other option to do was what? You will have to say await page dot keyboard dot down Control plus C, right? And then do what? Control down keyboard up. Now combining these two, you got what? You got this only. Okay,
Okay.
so you don't have to do this. You can just say this one. Now this will do what? It will copy your text, right, which is currently highlighted. right? Now I will do what? I will go and click on the password thing, right? I will go and click on the password thing. Let's do one thing. Let's not do on the password because it is not shown. So it will not make. What I'll do is I'll use password only, right? From here, password, uh, pass. Sorry, let it be email only. I'll use this only. Okay, I'll paste it on the email thing only so that I can see the text. What is happening? I will do what now? I will go and make a click again, right? On the email thing. See what I'm trying to do is I will do what? I will press Akhil Jain, right? Like whatever I'm typing. Then I will do what? Once I've done this, right, I will go and double click on this, press Control C, copy this, then click on this and do a Control V. So you should see something like this, right?
Okay.
Okay, I want to see this. So what I will do is I'm again making a click on the locator email. It should not clear. I hope it does not clear automatically. So it should only click a left click, right? And then I will do what? I will now press Control plus V, right? And then I will do what? I will say await page dot post so that we can see what is happening. I hope, right? We are good till now.
Yep.
So let's run this. So we are filling it through this part and all this. Let's run the test case. Okay. So it shows Akhil Jain login, right? Correct. So this is what we expected and it works, right?
Akhil, this does not work for me. Like I could just see that my initial text was there. Login did not got appended.
Are you using the right things here, right? C is capital here.
C is capital. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm doing. Keyboard dot press. Yeah, that's the event that I'm also doing. And control dot V. V is small. That's the same thing. Okay. I have typed control dot C and control dot V in double quotes. Does that makes any difference?
No, it does not make a difference. It should be okay. See,
And,
I think it should work, right? You can try it afterwards also, and I believe it should work. Okay.
okay.
So it should work. So it should not be an issue. But the point which I'm trying to make is I hope you are getting it is getting clear, right? At how it will work. Okay.
Okay.
So keyboard thing, right? Down and up and pressing right and then sending the text. Similarly on the mouse, right? You can do what? You can check. You can do a double click, single click, right? Scroll and all that. Although scrolling will have a separate chapter for it, but this is what you can do. One last thing for today, how to do a drag and drop. For drag and drop, I had one thing, right? There was a site for drag and drop. Let me just find that one again. There was a site that we used using during our WebDriver IO session also. I have it somewhere. Just a second. Let me find it. It would be very handy website. Okay. I got a new subscriber on YouTube. Great. My practice websites. No. I don't have it here. Okay. Then maybe here only. Just a second. I don't have it. Okay, I don't know. Let's find drag and drop practice practice website. I think either this one or the other one, which does not have a lot of ads. So no, this will not work. This is having too many ads. Let's use this one. Okay. Yeah, this is the one, right? So if you see, right, if what is the drag and drop here? What you can do is you can find this element here, right? Click on it, drag it, and drop it here, right? and you will see the image here, right? Like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's try to replicate this using Playwright. So what we'll do is, okay, and these are what? These are okay. These are the other things. Okay, let's leave it. These are the dialog box or what? Okay, we have to discuss dialog box separately, but later on we'll discuss. Let's focus on this part. Now let's find the element for it. High tetras, right? Where it went. Okay, image one, right? So we have image, high tetras. The second is this is the list. For second, first list. This is just a second. It is the first list. High tetras. So I can just go and this is high tetras. This is high tetras 2. This is high tetras 3, right? So let's use this image only. So I'll just use the image source, which is the most easiest one for me. I'll do a control F. Image source equals to this value, right? And I'm able to find it. So this is the element which I want. This is I'll go back to the code. Let's very quickly test drag and drop, right? A sync page. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll say await page dot go to. We'll find the URL of it. I'll place it here. But what I need is I want to find the first the source, right? The source is this. Await page dot locator. This is the source thing for me, and I will say locator will give you what? It will not. Okay, I don't need await here. So I'll say let source equals to this. Okay. Now the go to method. If I go to the I'll go to the go to. Okay, just a second. Okay, just a second. So this is the source thing, right? And we need the destination also. Let's say this is the target, or I should say target. What is the target for me? The target would be another locator, which is what? Which is where it went. This one, right? This is the target for me, and this is divided trash. Let's find it. Dev hash trash. Arey yaar, where it went? Control F. Dev hash trash, right? One of one. Okay, dev dot trash. So let's get it, place it here. So this is the destination, right? Now what we have to do is we wanted to go and click on source, right? We wanted to click source, right? This is how I'll do it. I'll go here. I'll click on the source, right? And I need to keep pressing my this key, right? See, what I'm trying to do is I have moved my cursor to this, and I need to do what? I need to keep pressing my left mouse key on it, right? And then by keeping it pressed, I need to move the cursor and then hover over this trash target, right? And then release my left key, right?
Correct.
This is how you do it. So we'll try to replicate this thing only. We'll first of all go there, right? Exit source. What we'll do is we'll say await source dot. This is page dot locator, and on the locator, right, there is a method called hover. Okay, hover method, which just moves the mouse right over over that element. Okay, hover. It will not do anything else. It will just move the mouse to the center of that element. Okay, this will move that. Second operation, what you need to do is Now, once the mouse is here, right? Once the mouse is here, which is here, right? Once the mouse is here, right? I need to press the left mouse key, right? So what I'll do is I'll say await page dot mouse dot
Down.
down, right? Down, right? Down key, and it will do what? It will this fetches a mouse down event, right? And by default it is left. If you want, you can specifically say that press left key. Okay, so it will do this. Now it will keep that left key, left click, right, to be clicked, right? It will remain there only. Now you need to do what? Now your mouse is already clicked, right? And you want to hover your mouse over the target, right? What I'll do is I'll say await target dot hover.
Yeah.
Now the mouse will get hover over there, and now I will release the mouse, correct?
Key mouse dot up.
Mouse dot up. Okay, and this way, once you do it right, you should be able to drag and drop, right? It would be performing the operation as drag and drop. So let's see this. Await page dot pause, and let's run the test. Let's see what happens. Okay, it is stuck where? It is still hovering the mouse. I said what? Source, right? It is unable to find the locator. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. It cannot find the source. Why it is can't find the source? I wrote the correct thing. Okay, waiting for locator, right? It could not find the locator. Okay. Uh, let me do one thing then. Sorry. Let me check this again. Well, maybe I'll use something else. Maybe using image is creating a problem.
Can we go for the list element under the
Yeah, I'll do that only now. So this is the gallery, and in this I will have to go to the list of 0, right? So if you see, right, even if I able to be on the list, it should be able to drag it, right? Because the when I say hover, it will be moving the cursor to the center of it. So I can do what? I can use this gallery part. I'll say hash gallery, and then I will say li. And I want to use the first of this, so I'll use it. Okay, so I'll do what? I'll come here. Let me comment this out. I will say page dot locator this dot nth 0. Okay, and it will be let source. Okay, I got this, and let's run it again. Let's see what happens. I think I should also maximize the window just to make sure. No. Okay, this might be sitting in an iframe, I believe. That is where I'm making a mistake. Just a second. I did not check that part. Just a second. That could be the possible case. So if you see, this is, you see, right? This is in a body tag. This body tag, and I'm sure this would be in an iframe then. Let's see. You see iframe.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Okay, I will form an iframe. Let us see whether I have another iframe to deal with. Oh, I have another iframe, right? There are two iframes. This, these are two sibling ones. Okay, let me just check it again. Okay, just a second. Let's no. Now we have all the tools, right, to find the iframe also. So I'll use that one, the frame part, right? If you remember.
Yep.
So we'll go to the frame. What is the frame? Who's highlighting this? This frame, right? The source of this is this one. This is data source. I can do what here? So let's find this frame. But here we have data source, and this is the source, and this source looks very weird. So this, I have a feeling that this will change. So this is not a good thing for me to use. And I do not see a name or this one, right? The other thing to use. So using frame directly will not be an option. I can do what? I can use a frame locator, right? I can use a frame locator, and to be there, I can use this as a reference. I'll say, uh, uh, let me put this way: photo manager, rel title, rel title equals to photo manager, and this is all placed under div tag. We got one of one, and within it, I wanted to get iframe. Okay, I got this. So what I'll do is, but again, the problem is I have to see it should not be nested one. So I'm here, and if I check this, this is a part of this one. Content browser, right? And if I collect this, content browser is still there. So these are this is like the child of this one. Where is my other iframe? This is the other iframe, right? But I believe this is a sibling one. Let's collapse this iframe here. This is the one which I want to deal with. So these are separate ones. Okay, so these are separate ones. Great. But this one is sitting inside this frame body one. Okay, let's see. I hope this is the topmost HTML
Can
thing.
we use frames method and go to the specific frame, and then inside that we can deal with?
You can't write because frame is dependent on either URL or the name attribute. You do not have any of those here.
Oh, nothing of that is there. Okay.
No, there is nothing, right? So, but I can see one thing now. You can just directly work on the frame locator. Okay, let me find it. I think I have the way now. Let's do this. What we'll do is we just need to do this thing now. We'll say await page dot frame locator, and this is the frame locator which I want, and this will return me a frame locator. Let's say let frame locator equals to this. Okay, and then on the frame locator, I want to find the thing, right? So source page dot mouse target dot over page dot mouse. Okay, so this is how it should work. Let's see if it works or not. If it does not work, I'll show it tomorrow. Okay. And by the way, tomorrow we'll have class in the morning at 8 a.m. sharp. So I'll update. I think we have the invite, but I'll update it accordingly. So let's see. You see? Done. Right? It was able to drag and drop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Amit?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you understood the reason, right? Because we were
Yes.
not in the right frame, right? Once we moved to the right frame, you could do the things, right, which we just discussed. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. You know now like how to do a drag and drop, right? But instead of doing this, right, there's a handy way which is provided to you. You can do what? You will have to do. You can do what? You can go there. But I think it will not be possible in this case. But let's see. On the page itself, right, there is a method called drag and drop. Okay, drag and drop. So you do not have to do mimic all of that. You can just do a drag and drop on the source in the environment. Okay, so you can do that even on the frame side, right? You have a drag and drop, I believe. You see, drag and drop, but that drag and drop does not exist on the frame locator. Okay, that is the problem. Since we do not have access to the this frame, right? This frame, because there was no URL or the name thing, so we did not got the frame, so you cannot use this. And on the page side, right? Those are not on the overall page, right? Those are inside the frames. So this drag and drop will also not work. So the only option we have left was replicating it through those mouse events and all. Getting it? And that is what we did. Okay, right? Otherwise, what if it was in the right thing, what you could have done is you just have to do this page dot drag and drop and do what? Give source here, and give target here, and that's it. This is giving you what? Argument of locator is not assignable to parameter of type string. What? Drag and drop source string target string. No. Oh, you have to give the XPath and all this for it. Okay. Selected to search for an element to drag. Okay, fine. So what we'll do is you will give this thing to it. Getting it? But this is not possible because these two are not available directly on the page. They are sitting in the frame, and you are able to get access to the frame through frame locator only. And on the frame locator, you do not have the drag and drop method. So the only thing which you could do is this operation. Okay, Anand?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, right. So today what we covered the frame and the frame locator thing. We covered the mouse and the keyboard and the drag and drop. Okay. So tomorrow it will be about JavaScript execution, shadow DOMs, and maybe one or two things. And that will also mark the completion of all our web element like operations, right? Which we have to do. So yeah, so this is, let's see, let's meet tomorrow morning and try to cover the remaining part. Okay.
Will we start sharp at 8?
Yes. I have to go somewhere, so I'll be starting at 8.
And you plan to take it until what, 2 hours of class? Or
9:30 at max.
okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Let's meet tomorrow morning.
Okay. Let's.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Good night. Bye.